Okay, students, I'm getting ready to show you how to do the pine tree branch painting. Your pine tree branch will have brown paint first, then you do the green, then you do the little red berries, and then you do the snow. So I'm going to show you all of those step by step. Okay, these will go on the drying rack when you're done today. You're actually not painting with conventional paint brushes today. You are going to use other materials and tools. So first things first, you need to write your name on the back of your paper. This is a one-day project, by the way, so you got to get these done today. Then you are going to need 2 pieces of cardboard, okay? You're going to need a toothbrush, and you're going to need a Q-tip. That is what you're painting with today. Now the paint at your table is going to probably be in a tray with the colors brown, green, red, and white. I just have this plate for my demonstration because I'm doing it on my demo table and I don't have enough room for a tray. You do not need water for this because you're just going to throw away most of the materials when you're done with them, except for the toothbrush. Just needs to get put in the brush bath when you're done. Okay, first step, you're going to get one of the cardboards that you want to use for your tree branch brown part. That is the first step. So I'm going to dip this in my brown on the side that I want to use. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and stamp it into kind of a branch shape. Now what's kind of nice about branches is they don't have to be perfect. When you want to run out of paint, dip it back in there. They can kind of just be whatever sort of tree shape that you want them to be. I'm just going to have mine kind of branch out like that. Maybe have an extra branch that goes out this way. Maybe I can have another branch that comes out this direction. And notice that I'm stamping, right? I'm going up and down with my cardboard. I'm not scraping or sliding it. So I'm stamping it on my paper to make nice lines. Let's see, maybe I could go maybe another little branch this way and maybe make this one a little bit longer and have it go that direction. I kind of like the way that looks. I don't need this cardboard piece anymore. I'm going to leave it off to the side. Now I get to do the pine needles. Okay, so you're going to get your other piece of cardboard, whichever one you want to use pine needles for. I think I'm going to use the shorter side this time. Dip it in my green. Okay, and now I'm going to do the pine needles. Now make sure your pine needles all go in the same direction, and I like to have them go out personally, so I'm going to have them go out this way. And they're all going out in kind of like a V shape. So when you run out, dip it back in there in your green paint and then continue stamping. They are attached to the branch. It's okay if it goes a little bit off your paper. I got a little bit of green paint on my table, no big deal. I'll clean that off later. Once I kind of get the main idea of where these pine needles are going to go, I can go back in and add more if I want to. Notice that they're layering on top of each other a little bit. That happens in a real tree where you have some pine needles going in one direction, some going in another direction. They layer on top of each other. You might have a spot where maybe it has some missing pine needles. Maybe some of them broke off. You can make it look even more realistic with just kind of some small mistakes like that. So I'm going to finish up adding my pine needles. I'm going to add some more right here. And then if I feel like it's kind of blank in some places, I can add maybe just a few more pine needles. Maybe there's more pine needles in one spot more than the other. That is up to you. You're going to have to make that choice as an artist. Where are these pine needles going to go? Is there enough? Does it look right? You're going to have to look at your artwork and make some of those choices. Okay, so if I like that, I can be done. Next step, the berries. So then you're going to get your Q-tip. You're going to decide where is it going to grow berries. Maybe some berries on the end. Again, you're stamping because you want those nice round shapes. I'm going to maybe add some berries over here. Maybe some berries over here. You saw the pictures of the real ones before you started, so you can kind of get an idea of what that would actually look like in real life. Maybe some berries over here. I'm kind of making sure that I'm spreading them around on my paper. They're kind of getting in all sorts of different spots. Okay, if I feel like that's enough berries, I could be done, or I could add more. That is up to you. Last step, adding snow. So you're going to be doing splatter paint with your toothbrush. what you want to do is dip your toothbrush in your white paint. Make sure it's clean first. Okay, make sure it's loaded up with some paint. And then you're going to flick it with your thumbs. So what I like to do is I kind of brush my thumb across the toothbrush and it'll flick the paint onto the paper. So you kind of just brush it across. And it's going to make little speckles. They're not going to be super big. They're not going to be really, really obvious because this is bright green paper. But you will start to see them show up, especially on your brown parts and on your pine needles. You'll start to see them show up on those places. It probably won't be seen too much on the bright green background. But you'll see them on your branch. So you flick snow wherever you want snow. Okay, do not use a regular paintbrush. Do not throw it onto your paper. You're going to try this splatter method with the toothbrush. It will still kind of get everywhere. You will still need to wipe your table when you're done. But this is a less messy version to splatter snow onto your paper. When you think it looks snowy enough, okay, you can go ahead and add this paper to the drying rack. This needs to go on the in the brush bath. You need to wash your hands when you're all done. This is why this is the last step. Okay, and then your trays will get put away by your teacher. Your cardboard pieces and your Q-tips go in the trash when you're done. You don't need to save these.